Hot Button.
The crazy thing about Wendy's Frosty, you can eat it whenever, like even when you're doing a podcast.
That's what my cold open was going to be, was just how's your refrozen...
It's delicious.
I kind of always assumed fast food milkshakes had an expiration date of like 20 minutes.
This is different. I don't know. Well, Frosty is halfway between like soft serve and milkshake. And then, like, when you freeze it, it's kind of almost like
Sludge.
foam. Like ice cream.
Like a mousse?
It sounds...
Mousse, there it is.
Is it like a mousse?
You know, mousse, which I refer to as ice cream foam in my head, apparently.
Are you one of those people that dips the french fries in the Frosty?
No, I'm not a psychopath.
At least you got chocolate, so I know you're sane.
Yeah.
The black and white is still the best.
Vanilla, you mean plain ice cream?
Yeah.
You know the word people literally use to describe boringness?
Black and white milkshakes are the best.
Yeah.
Black bottom muffins. You ever had one of them?
No.
Is that like a muffin on top of a brownie or something?
I thought this was a more common thing. It's like a cream cheese muffin. Like,
oh, yeah.
Is that a
it's
Baltimore
mixed, like,
thing?
chocolate cream cheese. It's like it looks like a Dalmatian.
Yeah.
Or like a marble.
I've heard of that. I don't think I've ever had one.
Marble as in the aesthetic pattern, not like a
Like
circular.
Iron Man and...
Wait,
What?
Marble? Which funny enough
the
is also an ice
Marvel
cream.
Cinematic Universe.
Wait, no, that's Carvel, not Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Photoshop that. The Carvel Cinematic Universe, and it's just a bunch of those ice cream
Cookie
truck.
Puss and Fudgy the Whale.
I was thinking the ice cream truck versions of the Avengers with like the gum eyeballs.
Oh, yeah.
But I like your angle's better.
Yeah, I'm into that.
The Carvel Cinematic Universe with Cookie Puss and Fudgy the Whale.
Cookie Puss. What a great handle on like Xbox. Do you think anyone has that?
Yo, real talk. Thanos versus Cookie Puss.
Who would win?
I don't know. I feel like their enemies would be vegetables or something. But then I might just be thinking about children's educational TV.
Is that a VeggieTales reference?
Yes.
Okay.
Austin, the
But less
VeggieTales were
religious.
the good guys.
But less religious. Not to me.
I never saw VeggieTales as a kid, which I guess is obvious considering my upbringing, but I did work in a
In a
movie...
satanic cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did work in a movie theater when the movie came out, and I think some church groups got like bussed in, like little kids, and then that movie was gone. I don't think anyone else paid to see it.
That's wild. They even make shit like that.
Yeah. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Hot Button. I'm absolutely not going to be your host for today, Randall Beatrice. Here with people who actually follow sports, Austin Blakesley
Yo.
and Chris Anantuano.
Hey, complaining is a sport. I'm in the super ship.
Is that what they call it?
You know what? I'm a little pissed that they don't call it, etc. That was a complaining joke.
So despite the gap in my knowledge regarding the specific topic of this episode, I'm still endlessly fascinated by the subject of odds and luck. Our case today, of course, being bad luck. There are a remarkable amount of people still around us who truly believe in the power of superstition. Normally, it's fairly easy to cast off such ideas as being total baloney, but sometimes, just sometimes, things start to get so coincidental that it's almost creepy. This week, Austin is going to recount us the tale of the infamous Madden Curse and run us through the years on why having your sweet mug plastered on the cover of EA's annual football game could perhaps be a risk to your future career rather than the fun prestige that it probably originally seemed. Is it a final destination like Premonition or just a silly urban legend? I have no idea. I have absolutely no notes in front of me today other than this intro. So Austin, why don't you kick it off? I'm excited to learn about the unfortunate demise of all of these poor professional athletes.
Not demise. Yeah.
This is week 2 of the spooky October episode.
This seems like a good
Halloween.
Halloween. Yeah. Sorry, I should have pressed it. Yeah,
Halloween Part 2.
Continues.
Originally supposed to be episodic, but we're going to stick with the same villains as a Halloween reference. And then Hotween 3 will write a song that melts masks to people's heads.
When you brought up the idea for this episode, all I could think in my head was John Madden on The Simpsons, who's constantly screaming in people's faces who's ready
about
for
right.
some football.
Yeah.
Just like,
So, before we get into the curse part of it, we got to go through a little bit of a background on Madden itself.
okay. Also, didn't you want to point out that this episode itself seems...
Oh, yeah. The Madden Curse has also affected this episode because
We have been trying to do this for a
this
while.
was originally planned for release in September, and we've tried to record it a couple of times, and stuff keep getting in the way.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing this, we might be dead. Who knows?
It is...
Arguably, if you're
Friday,
listening to it 100 years from now, we are dead.
Friday the 13th was a few days ago.
Yeah, this episode was recorded on January 31st, 2123.
It is a Sunday, though, so
We
football's
got a
still
time
going
machine. It's dope.
on. And also football...
We used it to record a podcast.
and tell nobody anything of use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So football season has started, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So a better way to celebrate.
You want to hear some
I don't
opinions
know.
about I used to like football. I
Really?
did. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot. I
All right,
grew up a
all right.
football fan.
Didn't you
I
go to
grew
a
up-
football game and like gash your leg or something?
Yeah, I have a big scar on my leg. A piece of
What a way to
faulty
remember-
seat at M&T Bank Stadium, Raven Stadium,
It's a piece of you everywhere.
cut the muscle in my below
God.
my knee,
Ah.
and I saw my shin bone through my the hole in it for
This
my
is
knee.
a Halloween episode.
Yeah, fill my shoe with blood, and then it just stopped bleeding, and I was like, "That's probably not good."
You ran out of blood.
Yeah, that was
felt
it.
like it.
Ran out of blood.
Yeah, but I used to be a big football fan.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to get on my high
dad is,
horse,
yeah.
but these guys have suffered injuries equal to falling off a high horse several
Yeah.
times in a row. and it's just not that there isn't corporatization in every single sport.
There's a lot
I'm still
of
a
it.
baseball fan, and part of baseball is literally whoever has the biggest. Part of baseball I feel like is like a caricature of like a big businessman with a cowboy hat can have the best
I like
team.
your gesture. Yeah.
Like grabbing his suspenders, you know? Like, obviously, there's corporatization everywhere. It's just like in football, they're more just so in your face about the fact that they are like, this is us, and we do whatever we want.
No, there's
Yeah.
no corruption in any major league sport.
I am a fan of football, the sport. I am not a fan of the NFL.
All right,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
fair.
That is very fair.
So you wanted to bring like the XFL back. So you were with Donnie Boy and Vince McMahon. They're trying to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
What's your guys' experience with the Madden games before you kind of get
So
into
that's
its
what I was
history?
getting into
Okay.
was that I redboxed Madden 20
Yeah, I
and
watched some of
played
that.
it.
Career
I
mode.
like Madden.
It is a
I think
fun
it's
game.
a fun game.
They premiered that Blink song in the one
Yes.
like 15 years ago.
That's Randy's knowledge of Madden, everybody. They premiered a Blink song when Blink was still relevant 15
yeah,
years ago.
It was called Action, and then it later became Feelin' This.
Got
I think
it,
that was
okay.
Madden 2004.
That's been the Blink 182 minute with Randall Beatrice, everybody.
I don't want that.
Podcast within
I
a
don't want that
podcast.
minute. I really don't.
Too bad. You better come with a minute for next week.
Yeah.
Because this is it.
Weekly Blink fact.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
You know Tom DeLonge likes aliens?
I don't care. Yes, I did.
Save it for next week.
Okay.
Yeah, you only get a minute.
All right.
Okay,
Seemed less.
so, in 1984, Electronic Arts founder Trip Hawkins wanted to make a football game. And he approached who, at the time, was a very famous football coach, John Madden, for not only his endorsement, but also expertise in helping the development team learn about football.
Yeah. Until then, those games were like completely unbranded. Like I don't even know if they
Yes.
had the yeah.
Like Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah.
Madden agreed on one condition, that the game needed to be as realistic as possible.
Yes, and have the right amount of players.
Yes,
That was a
which
big
is
one.
why we're talking about this
Yeah.
happening in 1984, and Madden didn't actually exist until 1988,
Yeah.
That
because
was the
technology
first one,
needed
huh?
to catch up. In 1988, an MS-DOS game named John Madden Football was released. And
So
then,
DOS the first one?
and then later ported
shit.
to the SNES and the Genesis in 1990.
Yes, I remember his confused face on the cover. it's pretty good.
It is good.
And this was way before that they were marked by what year they were.
Mm-hmm.
There was one follow-up for the MS-DOS version called John Madden Football 2.
They dropped that naming convention pretty early.
Well, yeah, because then when that version was ported to the SNES and the Genesis, it became John Madden Football 92.
Oh, Okay.
Now, were sports games already had sort of a culture of naming them after the year at this point? Like, pretty sure
That's a good
there
question. I
were hockey
don't know.
games and before
NHL.
football games.
No.
No?
NHL 93, which was after
Was the
this,
first?
was called
Was the first
NHL Hockey. 94 was the first
What was
one
the
that
one for
was
the
numbered.
Genesis? That was just
That was
NHL
NHL
94.
94.
Oh, no, it was 94? Okay.
Great game.
Well, they were all for
Incredible.
Genesis. The first one was for Genesis.
That's what I
Yeah.
meant, like the
Yeah.
original one.
NHL Hockey was
Yeah.
in 93.
Okay.
Or sorry, 92. Because 93, this is going to
Oh,
get
right.
This
It's
is going
like
to get very
Cars.
confusing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Madden 99 came out in time for the end of 99, but was actually the game for most of 2000, and then
Yeah.
the years are kind of
And then they
don't
did
line up
didn't
right.
they do a thing where they're just like, this one is just straight up called 25.
Oh God, don't get me started on that.
Even-
That's gonna be a very confusing line I have to read later. That
Okay.
where that comes up. But big thing here, they got John Madden's approval. They didn't get the NFL rights until 1993, when the series was renamed from John Madden Football to Madden NFL, with the release of Madden NFL 94, and that was the first year that EA had acquired the NFL license and were able to
Okay.
use team names and logos.
'Cause
Gotcha.
The NFL at this point was already super evil and wealthy, so they might not even
They
know
were
what
super
video games
evil
were.
and wealthy before the video
the
games
video games.
existed.
Yeah, exactly.
Did EA always have the Marvel license?
Marvel?
Madden? Sorry.
Yeah, you know,
Call back to our intro.
The Oakland Iron Mans.
I say so many things in this podcast that make me like seem like the biggest dork.
Every NFL game had John Madden's name on it since
Okay.
EA started making them. It wasn't until this game, Madden NFL 94, that NFL's name was in it, and the team names and logos
Right.
from the NFL were in it.
Okay.
But for those of you out there that don't know how sports rights work, if you ever played a
don't.
college football game and they're all numbers
Oh,
instead of
yeah,
names,
that I do know.
there is a players association for each league. And in order to get to use player names and likenesses, you have to get not only the NFL license, but the NFLPA license, the NFL Players Association.
Okay.
So
There was a lot of controversy around the college.
Because you
Football
can't
games.
pay college
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
And that's a big controversy, which is unfolding at the current moment.
They don't
in
make
having new
those like the
developments.
NCAA.
They stopped, yeah.
Yeah, because of that.
because
Yeah.
of that, yeah. But luckily, 1 year later, at the end of 94, when Madden NFL 95 came out, they finally gained the NFLPA license, therefore were able to use player likenesses, even though it was on the Super Nintendo, so what likeness, but, numbers and
Yeah.
official numbers and names. But the funny thing is, as far as the cover went, from its inception in the early to mid 90s, all the way until the early 2000s, or the late 90s, depending on what territory you're in, John Madden himself was on the cover.
Yeah.
The first instance of a player being on the cover of Madden that wasn't John Madden
Oh yeah, I actually don't know this.
occurred in 1998. Madden NFL started putting players on the covers of the PAL versions of the games in Europe,
Oh.
starting with Madden NFL 99, which came out in 1998.
That's weird that American football, like they would start doing
Yes.
it there first.
But there was not a player on the NTSC or American versions of the game until Madden 2001.
Gotcha.
And this
That's PS2, GameCube, Xbox era. Like by then,
2001, yeah.
yeah.
And what all-
Unless that's
there-
2000, and that would be PlayStation and N64 as well. I guess.
Madden
Doesn't matter.
2001 would have come out on the PS2 and then the N64.
Okay. Yeah, I think 2002 might have been the first on
Yeah.
the PS2
And
or
for,
Xbox
those,
and GameCube.
for those of you who don't know, this is not uncommon. The FIFA games do this a lot. The NHL games do this a lot. They sell separate Canadian versions and European versions of NHL with different players on the cover,
I guess that makes
depending on
sense.
what
Yeah.
player is most popular in that territory. Like you'll have an American version, and it'll have somebody from the Detroit Red Wings, and then the Canadian version will have somebody from the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay.
And
Do these-
the European version might have somebody who's like from Russia or
yeah.
Italy or
Do,
something.
do these games come out in Asian territories? They come out in Japan and stuff?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
I don't know. It's a good question. But yeah, so where our story on the Madden Curse begins is actually kind of up in the air. There's some dispute to it, but basically people have been able to track it back as far as the first player on the cover of Madden 99 in Europe, who we will get to in a minute.
Okay.
Because since football is an American sport, the cover curse talk and the actual words Madden Curse did not appear on the internet and in talking circles about football until Madden 2002, because Madden 2001 came out in America with a player on the cover, we'll get to what happened, but some stuff happened, and then in 2002 it happened again, and people were like, wait a minute, there's a trend here. So it took a while.
Okay.
But I'm not going to talk too much about football stats. You can go look up all these stats of how their seasons went bad or whatever.
We'll have a future guest on our show that's huge into that.
Yeah. But I am going to go through names, and I'm going to show that this is people being crazy, but there's people being crazy, and there's some proof to it a little bit. So we're going to start in 1998 with Madden NFL 99. A man by the name of Garrison Hurst, running back for the San Francisco 49ers, was having...
Now, that's the team from California, San Francisco, Randall.
The what?
That's just for your knowledge. They're from there.
And the curse didn't strike right away. Garrison Hurst was having a pretty good season, so much so that he was able to get the 49ers to the second round of the playoffs against the Atlanta Falcons when he got tackled so hard that his ankle just snapped.
Ugh.
The bone did not heal properly, and then the bone in his ankle died and had to be operated on again. It took another 2 seasons to recover from, but this young, promising player returned, was never the same, and retired early.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Football, quite dangerous, as it turns out.
Now, this is where it gets weird because Madden was still on the cover, but they had players next to him. In Madden NFL 2000, again, Barry Sanders, running back for the Detroit Lions, was on the cover, but he was on the cover in the background. And right after, and I mean right after, I don't have the exact date, but it was pretty quickly, after being announced as the cover athlete, Barry Sanders surprisingly retired from the NFL at the last minute.
Did he say why?
Yeah, I don't have it written down here. Look it up. But he retired from the NFL at the last minute. I think it had something to do with not really recovering properly from an injury or something like that.
Isn't something like that going on currently?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going on all the time. The football's
He's
fucked
not
up
a Hall
sport.
of Fame guy, but I don't know. Maybe he is. I'm not sure. But he's arguably discussed one of those great running backs.
Arguably one of the best running backs of all time, and it's still revered to this day, but he did retire surprisingly early.
Okay. Do you know how old he was? Was he like a...
He retired in 1999, and he is currently 51. So
Okay.
people at home can do the math on that.
He was 19.
On July 27th, 1999, he announced he was retiring from pro football. He left healthy, having gained 69 yards, the highest total rushing yards ever by any NFL player in a 10-year span.
Maybe he had a vision of his ankle fucking exploding,
Yeah.
and he's like, I'm out.
Sanders' retirement came somewhat... I'm reading this right from Wikipedia for everybody listening. Sanders' retirement came somewhat unexpectedly and was a matter of controversy. 2 years earlier, he had renewed his contract with the Lions for $35 million over 6 years with an $11 million signing bonus. And when he refused to return, they sued, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it was unexpected and a little bit controversial.
Okay.
But
So we have our second instance at this point.
that is the curse striking again.
Mm-hmm.
But they needed another player to put on the cover, one that was in the sport. So then in comes relatively new player for the Green Bay Packers, another running back by the name of Dorsey Levens. He was an up-and-coming player. He had just started. He had one really good season in him, and this was his second season. The season started with Levens on the cover. He then got injured, which led the Green Bay Packers to their worst season since before Brett Favre, which was 1992. And this is probably the first instance of the curse not striking as hard as people recognize.
The third person stubbed his toe.
No. To cut in here, the Madden Curse is weird because people will rationalize whatever they can to keep the trend going.
Of course, that tends to be
Sometimes people's ankles snap in half, sometimes they retire, and sometimes they just don't have a good season. And that's it.
Right.
So, Madden NFL 2001, we have Eddie George, another running back for the Tennessee Titans, who actually had a great season.
Yeah.
But when the Titans were in
curse was
the Titans were in the playoffs, he bobbled a pass, which was then intercepted late in the fourth quarter of a playoff game, which then led to a score, which then led to a loss.
EA's fault.
After that exact interception, he came back the next season with much worse numbers, and it only lasted 4 more seasons in the NFL before retiring, kind of early, because his numbers were going down very sharply. And the curse strikes again.
Yeah.
And now we have Madden 2002, which again, keep in mind, was in 2001.
Yeah.
Madden 2002 is widely considered the year that the Madden Curse became a thing, that term started to spread around the internet.
2001, pretty unlucky year.
Yeah. Is that a 9/11 joke?
No. Yeah.
So, the Madden NFL 2002 was Dante Culpepper, quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Again, great quarterback. He suffered a knee injury right at the beginning of the season, was out for 5 games, tried to come back, still recovering from the injury, and the Vikings went 5-11. And then his career went downhill from there.
Yep.
Again.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are just like good in the moment, and that's kind of why it's like, oh, they're popular right now.
Like
Let's
flash in
get
the
'em
pan,
on.
like cover.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So, we got a couple hits in here. A lot of these are just like, this guy wasn't great. So, I'm going to go through them, list them off.
Okay.
And if there's any interesting stories around them, now that the Madden Curse has officially hit the internet and people are talking about it, we're just going to go through.
Our last story.
Madden 2003, Marshall Faulk, running back for the St. Louis Rams, was former Offensive Player of the Year and Pro Bowl pick.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, too.
He's
So
a Hall of
actually
Famer,
good.
but the year he was on Madden cover was the start of his career declining. He did bad, then his career declined, and then he eventually left the NFL.
I wonder if any of these athletes have blamed the...
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
For
I just know it's coming.
Yeah.
Madden 2004,
Yeah.
we have Michael Vick.
Oh, that's the Blink
Nothing
one.
weird there. Just move on.
Yeah.
Oh, no!
Nothing weird happened with him at all.
Satellite fell out of mid-orbit and took him out. Move on.
He was a good quarterback that then got injured
not a good
in
person.
the 2003-2004 season and missed 11 games that season and then went on to be a dogfighting piece of shit.
Yep.
2005, middle linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens, Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis.
Another controversial figure.
Important character in Baltimore history. We do sweep
What
under the rug the fact that he was accused of murdering somebody.
Oh, that's that guy. Okay, yeah.
However, Ray Lewis is a champion in Baltimore. There's a statue of him, and it is...
The RoboCop statue in Detroit is more dignity.
His announcing his retirement is what they accredit our Super Bowl victory in 2012 to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he announced his retirement at the beginning of that season, and then he had played for them since he was a rookie. Like, this pivotal figure his whole life, and that year they won the Super Bowl, and it was like his last play was like a defensive play in the Super Bowl. It's almost like storybook writing.
Yeah.
Minus the murder.
Minus the murder. Yeah, we do ignore that in Baltimore.
Yeah. In the middle of all that, he was named Super Bowl MVP the year before he was put on the cover.
That was in 2001. Yeah. Or 2000. Yeah.
2000. It would have been 2003, I think.
Yes.
He had a bad season, and then he went on to later tear a hamstring the following season, which took him out for a while. Also, he's probably a murderer. I have written here, which Chris already covered.
Yeah.
And then we get to
That's when the news came into my wheelhouse.
We get to our home city of Philadelphia. Donovan McNabb, quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, who had just gotten off losing to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl because his stomach was upset or something. He got a groin injury in the 2005-2006 season, and his numbers suffered. And then in the 2006-2007 season, he then tore his ACL, and from that point had to retire. And then after Donovan McNabb, we have Madden 2007, Sean Alexander, another running back for the Seattle Seahawks. He broke his foot in week 3 of the season, never fully recovered, tried to play, and then had multiple injuries the season after that. 2008, we have an interesting one because this was the year that EA decided they were going to do the thing that I was talking about earlier, which was have one cover for America and have another cover athlete
they're going back to that
for Spanish-speaking countries. So we have Vince Young, quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, as well as Luis Castillo, defensive end for the San Diego Chargers. But before we get to that, to go back to your question from earlier about whether or not players actually blamed anything on this.
That's what I was very curious about that.
Before either player was named for the cover, it got out there that an offer had been extended to San Diego Chargers running back LaDainian Tomlinson. But because the Madden Curse was so prevalent at this point and had been proven to affect players' seasons, LaDainian Tomlinson was so good that he was the difference between the Chargers making the playoffs or not, that Chargers fans started a website.
Oh, yeah.
And signed a petition to have his offer for the cover revoked. Because they didn't want their star player hurting their chances of winning the Super Bowl because he wanted to be on the cover of Madden.
But it's the community that's upset, not him being like, fuck no.
He officially declined.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. So it worked, okay.
Yes.
I was wondering if like the coach was going to step in and be like, back off of my players.
Here's where this kicks into kind of overdrive.
Not today, Satan.
Which is that this became a news story. Because this became a news story, they then named Vince Young, quarterback for the Tennessee Titans.
Tales born.
Who not only accepted the offer, but decided to go on live TV and make fun of the curse, saying that no curse could affect his season.
That's great. Is that out there on YouTube or something? I
don't know. I didn't look it up.
Oh, man.
Who then not only got injured, but got injured twice in the same season.
Oh, man.
He got injured in week 6 of the season. Shit. His team was able to hold it together enough for him to recover, and then he returned for the final game of the season where he got injured again. He then recovered from that injury to return next season and get injured again.
Jeez.
As well as, like I said, Luis Castillo, who was picked to be the cover of Spanish language versions of Madden, was also injured and missed 10 games that season. 10 out of 16. So, a lot.
Find it on YouTube.
Are you looking for it? Yeah. And then they just edit all of the injury footage.
It might be local TV. I'm not sure.
That's still great. Yeah, you said it was live. So.
But you thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
Let me get into this one. 2009. EA's got a little idea brewing. They say, hey, this Madden Curse...
We start a health insurance company.
No. And this Madden Curse can't be a thing if we pick a player who's not going to play the game anymore. Enter noted... Wait, no, that's another one. Never mind. Not a rapist. That's Ben Roethlisberger. He just sent dick pics to somebody. Brett Favre, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
In an attempt to break the curse, EA decided to celebrate recently retired quarterback Brett Favre's whole storied career. Now that he possibly couldn't be hurt by this curse since he wouldn't be playing. A couple weeks before the season started, Brett Favre had a change of heart, decided he still wanted to play football, and signed with the New York Jets. Had a so-so season, got injured, and then had to retire again.
Well, there you have it. I guess.
The Madden Curse strikes again.
Not to laugh, it really is getting weird.
So, no, laugh. It's real crazy.
Yeah.
So then, we're going to go 1 year ahead again to Madden 2010, where EA's got another plan. Another plan to get rid of this curse. What if we put 2 players on the cover?
I remember this one. This was a good Madden, too.
Yeah.
Also, just for video game's sake, this was a good Madden.
Yeah.
This one have Skrillex in it?
It had Larry Fitzgerald, wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, and Troy Polamalu, safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers, both on the cover. This is the first time that 2 players were on the same cover. And this was probably the first instance of the curse actually kind of being broken.
Oh.
You see,
EA
since we have 2 covers, the curse had to pick. And the curse picked Troy Polamalu. Okay. Because Troy Polamalu was injured in week 1.
The other guy became a millionaire.
Missed 4 games, returned, and was injured again later that season. Larry Fitzgerald, on the other hand, had a pretty good season, but people still attribute the curse to his injury the next season that caused him to miss a whole bunch of games the following season.
It just had to go in order. It had to wait.
Okay.
Yeah. It had to get them one at a time.
Is there? It's at this point. It's starting to just feel like if you play football, you're going to get hurt. It's just less of I didn't see the Will Smith movie about it.
So, here's an interesting one. Drew Brees, quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. This is Madden 2011, by the way.
Wait, Wild Wild West?
Yeah. That was a curse.
He had a bad year, but luckily the Saints were good enough that he made it to the playoffs. But in week 1 of the playoffs, Drew Brees had a horrible game to the point where they lost to the first team in NFL history to make it to the playoffs with a losing record, the Seattle Seahawks.
Not exactly a title you want, I'd say. But
2012, Peyton Hillis, running back for the Cleveland Browns. The curse strikes hard. If anybody out there knows anything about football and the Cleveland Browns, Peyton Hillis came down with strep throat, missed some games due to strep throat, only to later recover come back into the season, and be injured again.
I had strep throat last year. I was never on the cover.
He was a fantastic running back, but he had some drama behind the scenes with Browns management and left the Browns out of anger and started another curse where people say that he cursed the Browns because they have been consistently the worst team in the league since he left.
I don't know much about football, but I have heard that before.
Fuck the Browns. They curse themselves.
Yeah, for real. But now
the Ravens did steal their team. There's a bit of an interesting football fact. Basically, the Colts were Baltimore's team for a long time.
Right.
And then in the middle of the night, literally, the owner moved the team out of town. In the middle of the night.
I feel like this was parodied on The Simpsons.
This is a long time ago,
yeah,
okay? And then moved the team, obviously, Indianapolis Colts now.
Yeah.
And Baltimore didn't have a team for a long time until a guy who was working with the Browns organization almost did essentially the same thing to them and took the team to Baltimore instead. And then eventually that became the Ravens.
Man, how do you do that?
But...
The next year, EA got fed up and just put a football on the cover.
No. They put
Turns
John
out
Madden on, and then he died.
Yeah.
No,
Pretty sure he's still alive.
he is.
He is. He is retired, though,
yes.
right? For being an
Now we
announcer or
have
coach.
Madden 2013.
Next generation.
Calvin Megatron Johnson.
Megatron?
That's his nickname.
Yes, one of the Autobots.
No, he's a Decepticon.
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
No, that's Optimus Prime.
Wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. Had the best season of his career. A career that is widely considered one of the best career wide receivers of all time. He even went on to break some NFL records that season.
Until...
Nope, that's it.
Oh.
The curse has officially been broken
Hey, look
by
at
Calvin
that.
Johnson. He had a phenomenal year, broke some NFL records.
What deal with the devil do you think he made?
And he did so good that football fans had no way of being like, well, but like his wife divorced him, so that's the curse striking again. Like nothing bad happened to this guy at all.
We're gonna we'll find out in a few years that.
We'll get to the funny one, which is Madden 19 at the end. But so
Yeah, that's current.
So this is widely considered, obviously, to be the year that the curse broke. And after this, funny enough, with all the bad shit that happened from the late 90s until 2013, it fell off.
Sports betting became harder.
The following year, Adrian Peterson.
Good season.
From Madden 25, which was Madden
That's
14.
The one, yeah.
Yes. Madden 25 parentheses 14 written here.
Okay.
He beat his kid or something.
Oh, at what? Checkers?
With a belt.
Oh.
No, he had a bad season. He later got in trouble because he said that kids deserve to be punished properly and that he beats his kid with a belt.
Jeez.
People.
It's that whitest kid sketch.
It's almost like getting hit in the head a lot turns you into kind of an asshole. Then Rob Gronkowski, or Gronk, from the New England Patriots in 2017.
Who did he beat?
Nobody. He just got injured in the 2017-2018 season.
Okay.
But the rest of the players, who I will now list off,
it's coming back.
had great years and were
Was
fine.
it the 25, Madden 25, the Adrian Peterson one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had another person on the cover of that, too. I think Barry Sanders, because they did a fan vote for one of the...
Yeah.
Did it have a reversible cover or something in one of those games?
Yeah. They started doing special editions of these things.
Oh, yeah, there were special...
And putting retired athletes on.
Right.
A year after Adrian Peterson, we have Richard Sherman. I don't have their positions written down, actually. I don't remember. Richard Sherman is a safety...
I don't know. I think...
For the Seahawks?
Towel boy.
Cornerback.
Cornerback for the Seahawks.
Oh. That's the
Odell...
guys who defend the receivers.
Yeah.
On the sides.
Odell
Gotcha.
Beckham Jr., wide receiver for the Giants, I believe, in 2016, Madden 2016, and then again Gronk in 2017. And then in Madden 2018, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
He
Never heard of
went on
him.
to have a good season, except for the whole losing to the Eagles in the Super Bowl thing, which
What
could
a
be
nerd.
attributed to the curse because you have to be cursed to be beat by a Philadelphia team. But
As we say, is Philadelphia.
yeah.
Like,
And
natives.
then the interesting one, which I'll get to in a minute, Anthony Brown from Madden 19. And here we are. We're sitting at the beginning of the Madden 19-20 season, 2019-2020 season, I should say, not the 1920 season.
Whoa.
The cover athlete for this Madden.
This is the one that just came out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Madden 20, he is a player for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's it. We don't know if his season is going to be good or not because it just started.
He looked really happy on that cover.
He did. Yeah. He really did. And Anthony Brown had a good season, but the curse hasn't had its chance to ripple yet because we're now just getting the repercussions of him being on the cover, which I will get to.
Okay.
So, yeah, that covers all the athletes. So now, let's talk about curses.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Is it a curse?
No.
I think some of these are a stretch.
Yeah, right?
Football's dangerous.
I mean, the last episode we did before this, there were a lot of coincidences and occurrences that would develop. But the baseline here is what Chris just said. It's just football's fucking dangerous.
Yes. So what I have written down here, the big phrase that everybody uses for these things, correlation is not equal to causation.
Yeah.
Which means that just because a bunch of things happen and they seem like there's a pattern, does not mean that there's actually a pattern there. It's just coincidence.
Yeah. What about Fonzie's motorcycle car? Was that the one that they sold all the parts and then people kept...
Do I think that there's a curse?
Sorry.
What, jumping the shark? I
No,
heard Fonzie.
Didn't he wipe out on a motorcycle or in a car and die, and then they sold the parts to people that also supposedly died when they used it?
There's a lot of weird curses
in real life or the show?
No, in real. I don't think Happy Days got that.
Still alive.
Fonzie's still alive.
Oh,
yeah.
then
Henry
who am I
Winkler.
fucking thinking
it's
of?
Henry Winkler.
You're right. That is Henry Winkler. We just watched Scream recently. Who the fuck am I thinking
It
of?
does remind me of the Where car from Futurama, where it's like the steering wheel from Hitler's.
No, it's Charlie Manson.
Charles Manson's steering wheel. Yeah, Hitler's front end, and then it's like something else.
Kevorkian's van. I don't remember. Oh no, the windshield wipers from the car that played Knight Rider.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I'm gonna look up this cursed Hollywood car.
Okay. So while you look up the cursed Hollywood car.
James Dean.
Yeah,
That's James Dean. I'm sorry.
Wait, the porn star?
Oh, God. Do I think there's a curse? I agree with you guys. No, there's not a curse. Correlation does not equal causation. It probably has more to do with football being incredibly fucking dangerous, as Chris has said multiple times throughout this podcast.
Just in case curse is real, I didn't officially say it wasn't a curse. Y'all remember that, okay?
Well, I mean, good thing those issues are all being addressed.
Yeah. People get injured. People get injured and even end their careers way too consistently in the NFL.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm telling you, that's why Vince McMahon and Donnie Boy are right. We need an XFL. The only rules, doesn't matter how hard you hit people, no kneeling. That's the only two rules. Hit whoever you want as hard as you can and no kneeling.
That initiative to bring that back, failed, right?
It will.
Okay.
I don't think it's failed quite yet, yeah.
That really is their thing, though. It's like,
I know.
Nobody's kneeling in the XFL.
It's weird to take something that was marketed as extreme to X Games fans in the early 2000s to be like, we honor the troops. You're like, trying to peel the skateboarders? I'm confused. But I teased this last episode. I'm going to take a quote. I could not put it into better words than this. This is from Snopes.com, as was I mentioned in our last episode.
Yeah. 2 urban legend kind of episodes in a row.
Yeah. We often use superstition to help us understand unusual patterns that have no logical explanation.
Christianity!
And to help us assert some feeling of regulation over phenomena we cannot control.
Chris the loser. Continue.
Not surprisingly, superstition is something we see regularly in the world of sports. What else would explain a few teams coming up short of winning championships for decades on end, why some players suddenly experience precipitous drop-offs in performance, or why a particularly good player makes a bad play that ends his team's championship hopes? With the application of superstition, all is explainable. We contribute these kind of events to factors such as the curse of the Bambino, the sophomore jinx, or players' unwise decision to wear a jersey number bearing the number 13.
Oh, yeah.
But in the end, correlation is not causation. The sun doesn't come up because the rooster crows, yet the former is often mistaken for the latter.
Ooh, that's good.
So, do you know what the curse of the Bambino is?
Yeah, it's incredible. You should look into it.
Yeah.
I've heard it referenced.
Okay.
I don't know if I know that.
So basically, Babe Ruth
Yeah.
played for the Red Sox.
Yep.
And then he was traded to rival the New York Yankees in order to get the money for the owner of the Red Sox to put on a play.
And then the Red Sox didn't win a World Series for like almost 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know about the... Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think it was like 80 something, 90 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then my favorite thing is this little sub story that eventually the Red Sox did win the World Series in 2014 or maybe sooner, 2004 actually.
Yeah,
I don't remember. Yeah. Whatever. The Jimmy Fallon movie was about it.
Fever Pitch.
Fever. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, one of my favorite things is when they built New Yankee Stadium, that there was a story about a Boston fan who was trying to bury some Boston player's jersey in like the foundation to like curse the Yankees. And I was like,
great.
oh god, I wish I would have had like such a great thing. He got like caught or something.
That's good.
So it's funny. I'm about to go into Madden 19's cover athlete, Anthony Brown.
Yeah.
But first, there's actually been updates to the story since I wrote the script. As I said at the beginning of the episode,
really?
The script has been a little cursed. We've been trying to record it for a while, so I might have to do some Googling. But
Please make sure this file doesn't get corrupted.
yeah, I found an article from this year, from August 2019, about Madden 19's cover athlete, Anthony Brown. He had a good season, but he had some weird off-season trouble. He was accused of assault, I believe. I'd have to look into that.
Oh.
I think that's what the thing is now. But also, he got in a fight with Steelers quarterback and noted rapist Ben Roethlisberger, and then requested to be traded.
So he's the one who... He fought the rapist.
Yes. But he also might be one. I don't know.
Oh, man.
But I say right here, he is now with the Raiders. Not true, because the Raiders then traded him to the New England Patriots.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then the Patriots,
We had a friend of ours that
and then the Patriots played the Steelers in the first game of the season and beat them, and everybody was talking about Anthony Brown, and then they started looking into his past, and some stuff came up.
God. So wait, what the fuck is he wearing on the cover?
Well, this was 19, so he was still in the Steelers.
okay,
He's
okay.
wearing a Steelers uniform.
Sorry, the year thing confused me again.
People are attributing this off-season fight he had with Ben Roethlisberger to the Madden Curse striking again. Not only that, but he also got cryotherapy on his foot and developed frostbite, which people attribute to the fact that Madden runs on the frostbite engine.
Whoa! Yeah!
What in the fuck?
Oh! I love it.
Not only that,
And who makes frostbite? He got caught playing dice in the alley.
right? Not only that, but the NFL
that's my
banned
favorite.
the type of helmet that he wears for having it known to cause players a little bit more head trauma than other helmets. And
You shouldn't have put spikes in the
he
inside of
threatened
it.
to retire if the ban wasn't lifted. As we now know, that didn't happen. He is now playing for the Patriots, and there is currently a controversy going on with Anthony Brown. He was accused of assault by former trainer Brittany Taylor, who then asked for a $2 million private settlement, which he then declined, which prompted her to file a civil suit against him. And this was one day after the Patriots signed him from the team after he was released by the Raiders for multiple preseason issues, including this. According to Taylor, Brown sexually assaulted her twice and raped her once between 2017 and 2018.
Just let these boys play football already.
Yeah. And the NFL is currently meeting with him to see if there's any punishment from their end, which I doubt there will be.
The punishment is a lifetime of head injuries.
Yeah, there was also that other thing with Andrew Luck. He was a very good quarterback for the Colts.
Right.
He retired early because he was like, I can't remember my kids' birthdays or anything.
I was thinking of earlier.
And the fans had kind of attacked him too. It's not a great thing they got going on there at the NFL.
Oh, no. No, it's not.
But they're still billionaires, so whatever, I guess. But
Also,
so,
fuck football fans.
This is a lot of bad shit to happen to one guy. Most of it deservedly so. Some of it, getting frostbite on your foot, whatever. It's because of the engine, man.
It's just
But, again, is this because he was on the cover of Madden 19? No. It was because he got hit in the foot, and his foot hurt, and then they just probably prescribed him painkillers just to get him through it so he could keep playing.
Yeah.
And then he hurt his foot more, and then he had to get frostbite treatment because that's probably the only thing that would work, and it didn't go well. And then he assaulted somebody. He got in an argument with a quarterback. None of this is because he was on Madden. It's because the NFL is incredibly fucked up.
Yeah.
What I find funny.
It's crazy. Luke Smith just got ate by a tiger. Did you see that?
Yeah?
Tiger
Was he fucking with
engine. That's
Oh, wait, whose engine is that?
Luke Smith is a writer for Bungie. Tiger engines.
All right, I got it.
That was
Sorry.
a long one.
I was trying to think of a Snowdrop one earlier of somebody got caught in a blizzard and from an
Yeah.
Ubisoft game and it didn't click. It just didn't.
Yes, Decima engine. Somebody got decimated. I don't know. But no, the one thing I find funny about the Madden Curse is that
All the injuries.
it is
You
a
sick fuck.
no, well, kind of, but also it's a weird cross section of video games and sports because this is the kind of thing that happens all the time in sports. Curses are all over the place in
Yeah.
sports. But like video game people hold the Madden Curse up. They're like, whoa, there's this crazy curse. It's like, no, you idiots, there's not a curse. It's just sports fans trying to explain to their friends why this guy threw an interception. It wasn't that he was having a bad day or some weird gust of wind pushed the ball. It was because he was on the cover of Madden. This is not
It's easier that
only
way.
the only curse. There's the curse of William Penn, which I don't know if you know about, but it's a thing in our area, in the Philadelphia area.
Is it the building?
William Penn,
Yeah.
there was a statue of William Penn on top
Oh,
of a building.
yeah, okay.
And then they started building buildings taller than
Yes.
that, and no Philadelphia team won a championship until they built the tall
Stupid.
Comcast tower and put a little statue of him on the
fucking
top.
USB drive that
Yeah.
ruined the
Truth is,
skyline.
Nothing was allowed to be higher than the state building where he was because
Yeah.
it was supposed to symbolize that like the state was
my
above
God.
all.
This is so
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah. We also have the Curse of the Bambino, which I mentioned, the Sophomore Jinx, which I mentioned earlier, which is pretty self-explanatory. Your sophomore year is always worse than your rookie year.
Yeah.
And even other cover curses, like there's a curse related to being on the Sports Illustrated cover, and that's not just
yeah,
football.
I've heard of that one too.
That's all kinds of sports. There's another football curse called the Campbell's Chunky Curse, which is where in the mid 2000s, Campbell's decided to market their chunky soup as hearty soup
told me
for
this
football
story.
players.
It's so-
You don't remember these commercials?
And every player that was in these commercials ended up getting hurt or having bad seasons, and people attributed it to working with Campbell's.
Forget the fact that the Campbell's Stadium cursed the entire city of Camden.
Oh, yeah.
Swish! I'm proud of that reference.
That was good.
Yeah.
But gamers aren't as exposed to it as sports fans. So what's weird is that the Madden Curse gained so much notoriety because
They're
gamers found it
exposed
incredibly.
with the curse of, bad social skills.
A lot of other stuff that we won't get into.
I was like, I could go on a list, and I was like, wait, why am I going to alienate our fan base?
Yeah, let's bite the hand that feeds us.
This curse gained a lot of
Greasy
notoriety.
hand. Take a shower, you fucking gamers.
All right,
The Cheeto Sorry.
Mountain Dew. We're making fun of gamers. Game Fuel.
You
Monster
like Game Fuel.
Energy. I do. I like
I've
both of
seen
those
you
things.
eat and consume all of these things.
I've eaten my share.
Hey,
of
I make fun of
Doritos.
people for doing stuff I do all the time.
Where?
It's the American way.
But
But
also
yeah,
make fun of people that don't do it your way.
yeah, make fun of everybody. The American way.
It's true.
But yeah, this is actually interesting because it was exposed a lot more than those other curses because it was spread by video gamers, not
Yeah.
by sports fans.
That is
Sports
interesting.
fans are just like, damn, Madden covered, didn't get a championship this year because of it. And then gamers are like, whoa, what? That guy whose name I heard once because he was on a cover in a GameStop is like, his leg's
Yeah.
broken now? It's so weird. But yeah, that's the story of the Madden Curse.
That's wild.
yeah.
A coming up on 20-year history, right? Or I guess
Yeah,
Madden.
well, of the curse itself.
So why was 25? Was it the 25th Madden?
Yeah, but I'm saying the curse started in 99,
Gotcha.
so I guess
Yes.
we're a little over 20 years at this point.
Happy anniversary,
Happy
Madden
anniversary
Curse.
to the Madden Curse.
No, I think it's really fascinating to investigate the truths behind these kind of things. I know
Yeah.
that was the theme of the last episode as well, where it's like sometimes that stuff is weirder than
This
fiction.
one, the
you know?
truth is just football's dangerous and people get hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And when you put a spotlight on them getting
That much
hurt.
I did know.
Instead, we should play the even more dangerous football version from the Starship Troopers movie.
I thought you were going to say the
Where they
XFL again.
they do giant side flips,
Yeah.
make twists, and then you become a citizen and you kill some bugs. Isn't it great how they're all like, hey, maybe we shouldn't fight for this fascist country, and then in the end they all become propagandized anyway?
Yes, that's why the movie's so great and so depressing.
I know.
Yeah, and the book does not like apparently have the same tone or message to it. But
yeah, it's clearly like just a bunch of coincidental events. But even though the curse hasn't really been talked about for 5 or so years, this guy gets frostbite on his foot, and all of a sudden people are like, frostbite's also the engine that Matt's made on.
That was definitely the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
So yeah, there's your spooky curse episode for this month of October.
Hot weed.
Hot weed continues.
It's in your mind.
But
What's next? Can we have a preview? Or
So I'm in the middle of research. I'm probably about halfway through compiling everything together for the next episode, and it is probably one of the strangest topics, if not the strangest we've ever covered. It's a really...
Ooh.
I know, yeah. So
Spooky.
trying to think of what I could say about it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Tune in.
Yeah.
all right.
All right. Sorry, I was going to try and come up with something, but it's...
I guess
I'll say this much.
Okay.
It involves a dead body.
Cool.
How's that?
You said they were
Yeah.
going to be fun.
Yeah. That's not fun at all.
That's not fun at all. But yeah, if this is your first episode listening, we are currently doing a theme of spooky stories for the month of October.
You need a theremin in the background. Yeah.
So go back and listen to all our episodes if this is your first episode. But last week's episode was also spooky themed.
Yeah.
About the story of Polybius.
Polybus. Yeah.
And we have 2 more coming for you in the month of October.
Yeah.
If you want to stay tuned for those, we have a website, hotbuttoncast.com. There you can check out all of our episodes. We also have links on there to our social media, which can keep you informed on the episodes that we have coming out and when they come out. We also have links to Google Play, Spotify, iTunes. And on those services, you can subscribe to just get the things automatically downloaded onto your phone.
And rate and comment.
Rate us on iTunes.
Leave a review.
Leave reviews.
That stuff is great. We read them. And
comment on us. If you have anything to say to us, feel free to send us a message.
Mm-hmm.
We're always monitoring that shit. We'll get your message. I said this last week, but I'm going to keep saying it at the end of everything. If there's something you think we should cover, we do have a submit a topic button.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're not
On our
running
website.
out of ideas. Just it sounds a bit desperate. We have
But we have plenty of ideas, but I do want to. I do kind of want to hear from our fans. So even if you don't have a topic to submit, hit us up on social media, and we'll be happy to talk to you
just say
about whatever.
Say hey, and we probably won't say anything. We
We're not covering the year of Luigi. A bunch of
If
you
we
have
want-
submitted it.
If you want to tell us how wrong we were about something, go for it.
How about nobody's ever talked about the Mario curse? Every time he's in a game, his lady gets kidnapped.
All right, and with that, we're done.
Bye.